Today, we're talking about measuring AI performance. And what does that even mean? I'm Ann Griffin. I'm an AI product leader. I write for Forbes as a contributor a couple times a month. And I'm going to talk in this video a little bit about this piece I originally wrote for Forbes about measuring AI performance and what metrics do you want to use. And what originally inspired this piece was actually when Toby from Shopify said they're going to start measuring AI performance. And Shopify is actually a very high performing company. However, what I've seen in the past is a lot of companies will look to Shopify and say, oh my goodness, that's such a great idea, not think about any of the context around what they're doing or why they're doing it or how they're doing it, and try to copy it. And so I thought, well, let's talk about what does AI performance look and help people break down their own thinking of what AI performance means in their specific companies. Because I'm also hearing someone in my network told me that they are seeing with their own, I'll say they consult and they are seeing with their own clients that people are producing like 20-page papers with AI and sending them back and forth. So just a ping pong of AI slop. However, there are a lot of companies that are using AI in really good and I'll say performance enhancing ways. And things that you want to look at are thinking about like, well, what are your company goals? And then what are the disciplines that exist within your company? And what does AI success or outcomes look like for that alignment of your company goals and the type of roles that exist in your company? And maybe you don't know all the ways they should be using it yet, but you should look at outcomes like looking at quality, speed, that sort of thing. My friend Steven Weber, he actually said, hey, you should be looking at not only are they doing things better, but is the quality, I say better, but faster, is the quality actually also the same or greater with a faster speed? Because he's saying, hey, if they're sending you something in seconds, great that it's fast, but if you are now the person that has to go through the slop and give feedback that you wouldn't have had to give before if they were actually more engaged using their own brain, he said that's not a great way of saying, oh, yay, they're just looking at pure numbers of how many prompts they wrote or something like that. Also, employees demonstrating agency by partnering with AI to get things done. And I will say, I was talking to another friend the other day about how the AI is also only as good as the agency, not just the quality and clarity of thinking, but also the agency of the person behind it. Because AI might put together a plan of what it thinks that you need to do or what your company needs to do. However, the AI itself doesn't have true agency. Obviously, it gets at that with the term agentic AI, but having a person that really has the creativity to figure out solutions that AI can't necessarily come up with yet to your business problems, and then do the things in your organization to make that happen beyond just saying, hey, I produced a document. What people did they talk to? How did they get people onboarded? Those sort of things. The AI is really only going to be as good as the agency of the person who is partnering with it. And then the other piece is, how is the AI actually helping your employees solve higher leverage problems? Is it helping improve their thinking and creativity? Are they trying to replace their thinking and creativity with AI? Or are they, say, thinking about how can I take, well, I'll say, for example, for me, I write all my Jira tickets with AI at this point. I still have to go through and read and edit them, but it saves me so much time. And when I talk to other product managers who are also using AI in the same way, we can't even believe we used to spend that much time writing tickets. It's just, a very tedious, time consuming task where the details are very important as someone who's worked with teams, in different time zones. Right? You wake up the next day and they're halfway through and you realize you weren't clear enough. And so now they've either built exactly what you wrote, which maybe was not what you intended, or they're blocked because they had questions about the clarity of your thinking. So you want to make sure that they're using this in a way where maybe the low leverage tasks are handled by AI, obviously with human in the loop. And those high leverage tasks, those people have more time to solve them to help your business succeed. Because those are the things where if AI could just automatically help your business succeed, well, I'll just say you probably wouldn't need as many humans right now still to do it, which some people, we won't even get into that argument today. But other things you might want to think about, like anti-heuristics, are if you're just measuring output and not outcomes, just saying, oh, this person uses AI a lot. Great. Are they actually getting better at using AI? What does better with AI even mean? Are their outcomes any better? Are they just producing sloppy AI generated work? Or, is it something where maybe they're using AI, but they're using AI for things where it's nice, but there's things where they probably could be using it to unblock themselves and they are waiting, and back to that agency piece, they are like waiting for people to unblock them when it's something that they could probably use AI to unblock themselves. And so always want to think about, how do you measure those outputs? How do you make sure that slop is not rewarded? And how do you make sure that employees also actually understand, the work and the decisions? Like, it's okay for them to generate some, new ideas via AI, but do they actually understand what any of that means? And can they internalize it in a way where they can actually now push the work forward, with or without AI? And so that is today's recap of my Forbes article. So I'm going to be doing this more. Once again, I'm Ann Griffin. I'm going to be recording videos of some of my articles that I originally wrote for Forbes. Have a great day. One thing I wanted to expand on here is actually, I use in this video, I know I just ended it, but the term quality. And I not intentionally did some hand waving, but realized there weren't a lot of straightforward answers. So as a product person, what that means for me is, when I'm using AI, not only am I producing good quality work with it, and am I able to focus on the higher leverage problems, I would say, is me focusing on the higher leverage problems and whatever I'm doing to have AI help my thinking and having AI, automate other parts of my work. Are we able to produce products, right, that aren't riddled with bugs because of miscommunication and things that I had AI write in terms of tickets? Does it mean that the high leverage work that I'm doing, that I'm saying, oh, I have all this time for thinking, is that actually resulting in better business results? Because I have to rethink it of like, okay, great, I'm spending more time on these higher leverage pieces of work, like working on strategy, thinking about competitors, thinking about, do I need to reprioritize this? Because maybe there's something where it's like, hey, this will actually build better, get more customer adoption if we build this feature first, or build these features in this order, right? If those things are resulting in, whether it's our goal is like more acquisition, or like increased acquisition rate, or we are seeing, improved retention, we need to understand, like, how are we measuring this success? So from a product standpoint, that's how I think about it, is, are we actually seeing benefits, from the types of features and products that I'm shipping now compared to 6 months ago, compared to 12 months ago? And a lot of this is not necessarily instant or linear, but it does have the potential for teams that really figure this out as a team, not just individuals in teams, have the opportunity to produce millions of, I'll say, millions in additional value for the customers of that company, as well as the company itself. And I also think for engineers, right, it's not just like write code fast, because we all hear about maybe people who are a little too dependent on some of the AI code assistance, and how that can result in a lot of code that is very problematic, causes a lot of bugs. Nobody wants to, I'll say, take down production because of AI code. So it's also something where we should be looking at, hey, are they moving faster, but solving problems in a way that also are good holistically for the code base, or at least just not making the code base worse? And are they also using it to, especially for looking at maybe some of the more junior-ish developers, is this actually also being used in a way to help them understand how to solve problems better? Because now the problem is not, how do I get code to exist? The problem is now, how do I write code, right, that I understand and other people can understand, and again, is not going to create a bunch of problems. No code is perfect. Again, you can't completely future-proof your code base, but these are all things I think about when I think about quality in an organization. And even things where it's like, I think about a lot of these AI prototyping tools. are we actually using them in ways where we are getting feedback that changes the course of how customers think, or not customer, how we think about our customers' problems? You actually have to have them use the product. And that's the thing I've learned from using these AI prototyping tools is I learn a lot more when I let people get hands-on and struggle and having to witness that painful moment where they have no idea what's going on, or they're asking me, how do I do this? Versus just showing them, because when I show them, it seems really obvious to them. But when I get them hands-on, I get to see them experience that pain. And so the theory is always, when I see that sooner, we can make changes sooner so that we can actually build something that they love. Okay, now I'm going to go for real. Have a great one. Bye.